Good evening, Europe. It's actually 20 past 11 in the morning. I was at a Eurovision party last weekend, as everyone should be when Eurovision is on. I'm the one who can't pull a normal face. The event so predictable that we played Eurovision bingo and crossed off 22 of the 25 things that we'd put down. Here's the bingo if you want to see it. So basically, in this video, I'm going to go through all of the acts in order and try and rate them from memory. I'm not going to watch any of the performances again because I can't be bothered, but I'm going to tell you what I thought of them. Here we go! First up was Ukraine, who sent an actual vampire to sing their song for them. He started the performance in a coffin. The song was called Under the Ladder. There wasn't a ladder on the stage because a ladder is a prohibited item on the Eurovision list. Honestly, I can't remember any of the song, but it had some of the most memorable staging of the whole Eurovision. The coffin that he came out of was like actually a giant piano. There were some stairs, and then the stairs set on fire. It's what Eurovision's all about, having just weird stuff happen. The song was garbage, but it was fun to look at. Next up was Spain. Spain was just a couple, and they like fawned over each other for 3 minutes. I didn't even listen to the song. We just made fun of it the whole time. Yeah, Spain was kind of garbage. Slovenia was third. Slovenia had a woman who looked like Elsa from Frozen, kind of. Maybe it was just like the braid that like reminded me of it. Again, I can't actually remember the song. It was fine. Like Eurovision, they can't all be winners. Some of them have to be forgettable. She was wearing like a mesh bag though. You know, in your Christmas stocking you get like a little bag of chocolate coins and they come in like a net. She was wearing that. Up fourth was Lithuania, and their song was incredibly boring. It was, a woman was like sat in a puddle on the floor and she sang for a bit and then she got up and then her real life husband was there. Up fifth was Austria. Austria's was actually quite fun. It was a very handsome man just like singing a fun electronic song. Also, he was getting the audience going. He was like, whoa, Lisbon. That's a Eurovision thing, I think. Specifically saying the name of the city you're in. Sixth was Estonia, and it was this woman in like just the biggest dress you've ever seen. Like so big that she was rooted to the spot she was stood in and she couldn't move for the whole thing, and the dress like lit up and stuff and it was really fancy, but she was like singing an opera song and it was a bit much. Actually, that should be like the Eurovision slogan. Eurovision, it's a bit much. Up seventh was Norway, and it's a very Eurovision thing to send back a previous winner. Norway sent Alexander Rybak again, who won a few years ago for Fairy Tale. He was like playing his violin. They sent him back this year. His song was just garbage. Like, it was nice to see him. He's like a memorable Eurovision person, but like the song was really bad. Eighth was Portugal. I literally have no memory of Portugal's performance. Portugal won last year, which meant they were hosting, and I think they just did like the same kind of song. Up ninth was the UK. So the UK song wasn't a great one. Like, it's alright. The memorable thing about the UK song was that someone ran onto the stage and stole the microphone. Honestly, it was like the most traumatic thing to experience secondhand. But she like carried on. She got given a different microphone and she sang the rest of the song. We're all very proud of her. After they took the mic and she got another one and like started singing again and was doing a great job, I was like, we're gonna win Eurovision this year. We'll get the sympathy vote from everyone. Like, we've had to deal with this. But no, we like still came like 24th. They stole the microphone for like a political message as well. Eurovision, I'm not gonna say it's apolitical. There's definitely stuff going on, but it's usually like subtext. You sing a song that kind of alludes to like political issues that are happening at the time. But this guy runs on and he's like, Brexit is bad. That's a bit too on the nose for Eurovision. They had to cut him off. After the UK, it was Serbia, whose performance was memorable because they just sent a bunch of weirdos. They like found an actual wizard and gave him a flute. They would just like stand on this box on the stage and play the flute. They also had like a creepy bald guy. The Serbia Eurovision group were like when you've got Eurovision at 8 and LARPing at 10. After Serbia, it was Germany. Germany sent Sideshow Bob to sing their song. and it wasn't great. I mean, I think he was singing about his dead dad, so it was kind of sad. I like the bit in the song where he counts. Oh, what's this? It's my maths degree. 12th was Albania, who sent like Elijah Wood with a beard and this man with too many guitars. He was playing an acoustic guitar, and then like halfway through the song when it like kicked in, he just got rid of it, and like he had an electric guitar on his back. That was pretty cool. The song was really boring though. At least the whole band was really into it. Like the drummer was going wild. France was after that, and they tried to like make a thing. They were getting everyone in the crowd to do this, and that was like that thing. I mean, it was kind of memorable. The best thing about their performance was like they were wearing all black, and they just had like bright red shoes on. It looked like they were wearing trousers, and like one of the legs was just like a normal leg, and the other one was just massive. It probably made it sound more exciting than it was. After that was the Czech Republic. It was the meme entry. The guy was doing all the meme dances. He dabbed in the middle of this performance. It was really bad. There was a line in his song that was like, "All of you want to get my spaghetti." I don't know what that means. He was also wearing a backpack, which didn't make sense either. I think I might have hated it. Maybe I'm just like a bitter old man at the age of 22. Next came Denmark, and Denmark just sent some actual Vikings. This is a very Eurovision thing. You just send just some weird people. They had like some masts on the stage with just like billowing sails. First use of the wind machine this Eurovision, which often makes a lot of appearances. He was like singing and the wind machine was going and there was like snow in his like beardy face. There was like 5 of them, but only one of them was doing anything. Everyone else was just like walking on the spot. And halfway through the song, the guy like, when there's an instrumental bit, he was like, "Walk with us." And like, I guess he wanted the whole Eurovision audience to just start marching. I don't know. 16th was Australia, who like aren't in Europe. They came a couple of years ago for the 50th anniversary of Eurovision, and just like no one's told them to leave, so they've just stayed. They had a woman who, in a brave move, was alone on the stage dancing and singing. No one had choreographed the dance, so she was just kind of like flailing about a little bit. They just sent this poor woman on her own to represent Australia. Like, the song wasn't even bad. It was just when everyone else is like filling the stage with flames, they've got this one woman on her own who's just like whipping out all the best moves. Then came Finland. In another case of risky staging, she was attached to a wheel that was spinning around. Like, she was singing while upside down. It was wild. Their song was actually pretty fun. Got like a lot of respect for this woman, because she's got a YouTube channel and she like sang her Eurovision song in like every Eurovision country language, like 37 different languages. At least she's putting the effort in. Bulgaria were up after Finland, and they sent like this super group of people who kind of looked like celebrities. There was this woman who looked like Sia, kind of like a chunky will.i.am, and this guy who looked like Croatia's entry from last year, which I really liked seeing. I mean, I quite like Bulgaria's. Moldova were after that, and they gave the best performance of the night. So when they first came out, there was a guy wearing a blue suit, a woman wearing a yellow dress, and a man wearing a red suit, and then there was 3 people behind them who looked exactly the same. But when the performance was on, it all made sense. On the stage, there was like a wall with 3 doors in it, and you know, like when magicians put someone in a box and then they move the boxes around and open the doors, and it's like the head's over here and the legs are over here. It's because they were doing that. The man in the foreground would be like doing something, and then one of the doors in the back would open, and the guy who looks like him would be there. They'd all be dancing at the front, and then the bottom of each of the doors would open, and there'd be legs doing the same dance. I don't even know how you come up with this. It was really cool, but ultimately they didn't do very well. I liked it, Moldova. Keep doing what you're doing. Sweden came on next, When they do Eurovision, they have like groups of experts from each of the countries. They see a performance before actual Eurovision and they make all their decisions of like who their country's going to give the points to. And they go through all these first and then they add the public vote on after that. And Sweden were doing really well with the expert vote, and then it came to the public vote. They did terribly just because it was like an incredibly creepy performance. I'll give you a demonstration. So he'd kind of come on like this, and then he'd be like, and it was just the worst. So yeah, I hated that. Nothing else about the performance was memorable. Every time he did it, I just like felt gross. So every Eurovision, there's like a token, really out of place heavy metal band. And that was Hungary. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. They were having a good time. I'm not sure the Eurovision audience were. One notable thing about Hungary, when they came out at the start, they did the Ginyu Force pose from Dragon Ball Z. So I was into that. After Hungary, it was Israel with just the most Eurovision song you could possibly conceive. You imagine like a witch doing like a cauldron recipe and she's like, weird backing dancers, strange set decoration, a thing that lights up with the words of the song, a corny dance move that everyone can do. Like, it was a good time. It's the embodiment of Eurovision, and I think it deserved to win, probably. Like, I wasn't mad when it happened. It's gonna cause all kinds of problems politically, though. The Netherlands sent like a country singer, but they must have realised that it wasn't that interesting to just send like a country singer and his guitar. So, along with him, they just sent 4 dancers to like Crump. I shouldn't say the word crump, it sounds wrong when I say it. So he's playing his like country song, and there's just these 4 dudes on the stage just going way harder than this song deserves. So that was pretty wild. Ireland came next. The song wasn't incredibly exciting. The guy singing it was like the most Irish man you can think of. But they had like 2 guys doing like a dance in the background. This is the reason that they're not showing it in China this year. They didn't want to show the Ireland performance because it has heavy gay subtext, and they don't like that. So Eurovision told China, oh, you just can't show it all then, you dingus. The penultimate performance was Cyprus, who sent a lady dressed like a snake. Her song was called Fire, and there was a lot of fire. Yeah, I think it came 2nd or 3rd. Finally, it was Italy. They sent 2 people who just didn't seem to care. They kept cutting to them in like the green room afterwards, and anytime anything happened, they were just kind of like they never seemed like they wanted to be there. So that was all of the performances. I'm not going to go through all my favourites. I'll make that a problem for like future me editing the video, who now has to put up a list of my favourite ones here. I think Moldova is probably here. Moldova. I've not even talked about like all the other Eurovision things. Like, every year they just keep adding more hosts. 2 years ago it was in Sweden. They had like 2 hosts and it went quite well. Both of the hosts were like fairly interesting and they got along okay. Last year in Kiev, there were 3 hosts and they didn't seem like they knew each other, and everything they said just like wasn't funny. And this year in Lisbon, they had 4 hosts. They introduced themselves all at the start. I'm not gonna remember your names, there's too many of you. None of them were particularly interesting. I felt really bad for the woman who had to keep going and like talking to all the performers. Eurovision gets some weird performers. I guess that's the end of the video. I don't know what else to talk about. If you watched Eurovision, tell me about your favourite ones. If you liked Sweden, get out. I guess that's it until next year. Oh, I love and hate Eurovision. Bye.